Hey, y'all. Today's episode is with a couple of gentlemen who have been through some pretty big traumas in their life, but have come out the other side just absolutely swinging. But I do want to mention before you listen or watch this episode that you take some precautions. There's going to be some language, there's going to be a lot of language. We get pretty raw in this episode. So if you have any small children or you just don't like language like that, I would suggest that you uh, shut this episode off at this point. However, I also encourage you to listen. Listen because there's a lot of people hurting out in this world. And sometimes it's not all the roses and bubble gum that reach them. Sometimes it's that dark humor. Sometimes it's just being able to sit and laugh and come together as brothers or sisters or just as humans. So, once again, there is a language warning that comes with this, but I encourage you to listen because these guys have a fantastic mission.
Leaders are not born in a womb. They are forged through heat, pressure, and a whole lot of sweat. The Fire Forged Leader podcast serves the audience through exploring leadership at work, in the community, and with the family, using a practical perspective and real-life experiences from the host Steve Baumgartner and his guests in the Forge. Now, it's time to enter the Forge with the Fire Forged Leader.
Welcome back to the Fire Forged Leader podcast. Got a couple of really great guys on the podcast today. We have Lance Price and Ty Southern, south of the border. Southern, I don't know. Anyways, these
me.
guys are from We Are SFH. And I'm going to let them tell their own story and what SFH really means. This is going to be a no holds bar podcast. So if you got little kids in the back seat, you might want to hit the pause button right now, kick them little bastards out, because we're going to have some fun today.
Oh, yeah.
So whoever wants to kick it off and tell us about SFH mission, that would be awesome.
Hell yeah. Lance, you want to go
Absolutely.
hit it?
Yeah, I mean, I'll start it off and I'll let Ty finish it off for me. So we started as a clothing and apparel brand, but grew to be so much more, man. We are now a community of fighters and warriors that stand beside each other to help them in their fight and build them up when they need it, and to have them to build us up. And we love our life and we love what we're doing, thanks to being still fucking here.
We for-profit clothing company with the heart of a charity. 50% of our net proceeds are always going to go to charities, and we hope to eventually have a large staple of thoroughly vetted charities so that people know that that 50% is going to someone's fight. And we want to end between Sister Care and We Fight Monsters and all that other stuff. We are not specifically for veterans. With anyone in any fight, abuse, addiction, cancer, any of it. Hell, if getting back to good after an injury or taking control of your health after you lost control of it. Anyone who we see you in your fight, and we're proud of how far you've come and how far you're about to make it.
Oh, that's awesome. So really, if I could sum that up, SFH is don't give up, right? I mean,
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, despite all it's a label and it's a jersey to show other people who the fighters are. Because, I mean, hell, everyone's been through something. And most people have been through something that not everyone else understands anyway. So if you share stories and make the community, you end up helping people get through all their dark shadows and bring lights to that. And there's few things better for my mental health than something clicking in someone else's head because of support or something we said at an event, or just because we were listening or acknowledged and validated their pain, whatever it was, like when you can watch that spark and that click go off in somebody, it's better than any of the drugs. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Now
I sampled a couple.
I don't know if I mentioned this to the guys, but they are on video, so you're probably watching Ty's awesome freaking dance move.
Oh yeah,
Probably.
I wiggle.
Awesome. Oh, he's got a few.
Anyways, with that being said, you probably noticed there's a few things, that Ty's gone through. But both of these guys,
Show him the legs. Show him the legs.
I did. If I go too far, if I go
No,
too
not
far,
that leg. Don't show him that leg.
If I go too far, you'll see what color underwear I'm wearing.
anyhow, both of these guys have been through some shit, right? So, Lance, why don't you go ahead and get us started here and kind of tell us your background and where you came from and what really drives you to this mission?
Absolutely. So I have been intrigued by the medical field for the longest time, even through high school. And going through high school, became part of the ambulance, worked in a cardiac unit in the hospital. Once I got out, I went into the Marine Corps in '97 for a short period of time. I ended up with an injury, got out, tried to go to med school, ran out of money for that really quick. Got the opportunity for someone in a white uniform walked up and said they can write all my worries away with those bills. And I said, if you can guarantee me medical field. And the rest is kind of history. I went to a ship first. I went in on a program called the GenDet program. So we go to a ship undesignated first and then go to our A school or our C school. But I ended up going to Corps school, becoming a corpsman, going back with the Marines where I first began in '97. And I felt at home. And I started there at SOI, which is the School of Infantry, and continued down the path of doing multiple deployments to Iraq and Afghanistan, getting the opportunity of bouncing my brain around a couple of times with explosions during those deployments. So you're never going to know what's going to come out of my mouth because I don't know what's going to come out of my mouth half the time because, like I said, it's been bounced around a little bit. But no, what we're doing now is, like Tyler was trying to say, is giving back and seeing the response in these people's eyes and stuff like that when we get to talk to them, share our story is phenomenal. I was diagnosed with PTSD, a traumatic brain injury as well. Have to do frequent MRIs to make sure that everything's going well. But in that whole theme with SFH, I got the opportunity to do a shot that's called the SGB shot. And that SGB shot basically calmed down my fight or flight. What it does is it puts the fight or flight mechanism to sleep. And when it wakes back up, it's not as aggravated and angry as someone with PTS normally is, and gives you the opportunity to take control of your post-traumatic stress instead of it controlling you. So for the first time about 3.5 years ago now, I had control of my life. It wasn't being controlled by a narcotic. It wasn't being controlled by my PTSD and the demons in my head. I was slapping them around like they were a bunch of bitches. And then I was like, okay, well, now I get still fucking here a little bit better. Let's do this. And it's history from then, man. I mean, we've got the opportunity to meet some people that have changed so many lives and changed so many lives ourselves. It's been amazing, Steve.
Damn, you went hard in the paint.
Sweet.
me. But so what was it, 6 deployments, question mark? Or 7?
7 deployments.
Ha! I would say he said multiple. 7 deployments. Oh, y'all.
Multiple, I think 3, not 7.
Yeah, you hear few and you're like, that's a hard
I did
3.
three.
Like
I did
that's
3 in
few.
each country.
Yeah, like. Phew. Yeah, and then 18 and a half years in the Navy?
Correct. 18 years Navy when they medically retired me due to TBI and PTS.
You left out some important details, brother.
Yeah, and that's something that just amazes me with people in, I'm going to say our generation. I think I'm a little bit older, but anyways, with our generation is how many times that people actually get deployed in today's age, right? I mean, 7 times. My God, how can you not walk away with PTSD, right?
Yeah. or something
I,
for sure.
I
Like,
volunteered for a lot of those, so it's kind of my own fault if you look back on it. But here
Technically,
is
it's
the
all
reason
your
why. Now it's technically all PTSD's fault if you really want to get real technical. So I was at home in combat. I was not at home at home. So I felt more comfortable deployed than being home.
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean it probably makes
It
absolutely no sense? But
No, it makes perfect sense. I understand.
and that's how you end up being deployed that amount of time.
Yeah,
So
gotta go back home.
Yeah.
Well, if you look at it just from the sense of, timelines and being a teenager, basically when you're going off to war, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, your brain's not fully developed to start. That's how you grow into your adulthood, right? That's where you become a tribe with other people, all those kind of things. Even not being a serviceman, right? I understand that. I mean, it makes sense to me.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I get that.
Yeah, I mean, Ty and I mean, we all talk all the time. Is that person to the left and right of us in combat was the person that we fought for? Why the hell aren't we doing that now that we're civilians? The person to the left and right of you, that's who you should be fighting for. So
That's why I tell them that every
that's
time
the way
they
we
hand
look
me
at
a
it.
mic.
Yeah.
Every time they hand me a mic, I'm just like, you trusted me in combat to go as many clicks as necessary to get to you and give you support. You're not going to call me in America when the demons come a knocking? Like, if you were in a foxhole or anything, if you were from cover and you had a radio and ammo and they were closing in, you wouldn't start shooting first. You'd call in for backup and then start slaying bodies. So let's reach out, talk to your friends, freaking the left and the right thing needs to extend into civilian life where everyone's supporting each other that way as well.
Agreed.
Concur.
Concur. Now, once you
right.
drop that Coke bottle, why don't you tell us your little story there, feller?
What's left of my story?
It's short.
So,
It's short. Is that what you said, Lance?
yeah,
Yes, it's short.
3'10", motherfuckers. I do say when I was short the first time all the time when I was talking about when I was younger. So August 22nd, 1989, I was born in Anderson, South Carolina. Now, I joined, I was raised in a fiercely patriotic and military family, all Navy, and raised in North Florida, Jacksonville. And it was Navy my whole life was the plan because I wanted to be like Dad and my oldest brother search and rescue for the Navy. And I thought that sounded cool, so that was my plan. And then senior year of high school, I jumped ship and ended up signing up for the Marines. And went in 07, 2 days after high school graduation at the age of 17. Made it through all the trainings and things, became a mortarman, infantry mortarman, small cannons, for those who don't know. Portable type, throw them on your back and run, even though they're heavier and shit. Made it through Iraq scot-free. And then 2 months to the day into my second deployment while in Afghanistan, I stepped on 10 pounds of homemade explosives, buried 6 inches straight down while turkey peeking a doorway. We were told there were up to 6 high-level Taliban held up in this compound, and we were approaching from an angle where we couldn't see the side that ended up having 4 IEDs laced on it. And I took my team around that side because everyone else already had a spot. We all missed the first one, and I stepped on the second one. And then on the ground, it was funny. I just explained this to somebody. On the ground, stopped breathing a few times. That was my corpsman's first combat incident. They put me on the helicopter. 10 minutes later, put my right hand on my chest plate because I don't know what science can do, and I'll be damned if it's going to end up on someone's mantle. And then 4 hospitals later, where they did the thoracotomy to open up my chest to clamp my aorta and restart my heart. Flatline 10 times, lungs collapsed 10 times ish. Like they lost count around 10. And then 4 days later, made it to Bethesda in a medically induced coma, where they were going to they told my family and their mission at Bethesda was make me as comfortable as possible till I died. And then I just didn't die. Like a dick. So I woke up on the 18th out of a medically induced coma and got the gist of what was going on. And gradually, as soon as they let me, I started getting off drugs and stuff. Ended up spending 2.5 years, most of it outpatient, but at Bethesda doing rebuilding my arm from the elbow down. because it was severely mangled. But then retired in 2012. Had 2 kids, got married, had 2 kids, got divorced, and been trying to work with and support any charities that I do support or know that they're doing big things since. And then, whenever I was approached for SFH, I couldn't jump at it fast enough. I was so excited. My whole thing was every peer visit that I got was the thing that meant the most to me. I didn't need a politician or a doctor coming into my room beyond what's going on today, doc. But my first peer visit was a man who walked in, and I was like, oh, great, what state are you from? Sure, I'll take your card. But he pulled his leg off and threw it on the bed and was just like, you're going to get 2 of these. And I was like, oh, shit, you're giving me information that I fucking need right now. Exciting. And that was the click I needed. That was my purpose from that point on, was I was going and doing peer visits every time we got fresh broke dudes. And when I retired, that was it. I needed to not leave anyone in the lurch. So anything I could be doing to make sure someone either felt seen, validated, helped, whatever it was, I was trying to do it. So SFH was a no-brainer.
So I would imagine, though, that wasn't a direct, it wasn't just like a light switch that went off when that guy, threw his leg up there. I'm sure that there was a lot of hurt, disappointment, just craziness going through your head.
Not to be contrary.
Really?
He's about to blow your mind.
Well, no, just when I first woke up out of the coma, it was my mother, which was amazing. I didn't have Dr. Schmo telling me what was up. It was my mother, who was a nurse for 40 years, and she, you're in an accident, your arm's messed up pretty bad, that one's gone, your legs are gone, and I kind of looked at, that fucking sucks. And again, all the drugs in the world, because they put you on anti-everything and pain and everything medications. They pack you full of it, which I'm grateful for in the grand scheme. But there was a stack of movies right behind her, so I immediately asked what movie we were watching. Did I hear you? Yeah. Arm, legs, fucked up. Movie? Like, and the next day I told the commandant to go fuck himself on accident. My unit got word that I said that to the commandant, who forgave me, by the way, because, again, lots of drugs. But they found out that I said that to the commandant before they found out I survived. They found out I made it 2 weeks after the fact, and then it took them like 4 or 5 days to figure that out. Because I ended up, they got me a sat phone a few times, so I got to actually call the boys, which was cool. Nice. It was good for both of us because they got to hear me doing good and not worrying about me while they were still doing combat arms.
So no depression set in, no PTSD, none of that.
Well, no. So I ended up having a lot of the problems or the dark spots answered or handled before they became a problem, if that makes sense. So
right.
My family was there from the beginning, so I didn't feel alone by any stretch. If anything, they could have thinned out and been less. But I love them.
Less family.
Yeah. I love them all to death, and they were like my whole freaking family flew up and was there for when I woke up. And then before I could get into the whole like who could ever love a thing shaped like this, me and my then wife my ex-wife started dating. So like, I never got to get into that where I was just like, oh God, I'm a broken man. So it was all, and then I'm the youngest of 3 and the only one who went Marines. So like, I felt like I had something to prove anyways. So I was always freaking thanking the nurses and being high energy boy then too. And then it became practice. It wasn't really a show at the beginning either. It was just how I handled it, was just worrying about everyone else's feelings as much as I could. And when the nice nurse with the hot pink Crocs came in, just like, what's up? Making fun of the Crocs or something, just trying to make someone smile, which made me feel better, which again goes back to helping people. Yep. Whenever we get a chance to help anybody, it makes my day and fills my cup. So I didn't have time for my cup to empty before I was already filling it back up, if that makes sense.
No, that's awesome. And I think there's a formula in that as well, right? I mean,
find your purpose as fast as you can.
Right.
I'm weird because mine was a knee-jerk reaction. It was just like all these people look sad as fuck. And it's mostly because you're a hunk of a dude they used to know. Like, so be the dude they used to know, just oddly shaped now. And I ran with that, pun intended. And yeah, it ended up becoming what I did. Every time we'd go to the fire pits or anywhere where people were chilling, I was trying to help people and talk to people, bring people into the cliques, and make sure no one felt like an outlier. I think it's what you're supposed to do. I don't really know. I wouldn't know how else to do it.
And you remember back in high school where your teacher said that humor wouldn't get you anywhere.
I mean, they also said that you're not going to have a calculator in your pocket. Bam, bitches. It's not only a calculator either.
I also got a camera.
Yeah, I carry around all kinds of shit on this weird black slab. Yeah. So and then and always what's next? I think it was part of my family thing where it was, well, this is where we're at. So what's next? Or what do we need to get done so we can move on to the next step? Rather than dwelling on the things we can't change. Not that I'm not from a religious family, but the serenity prayer parts of that come to mind all the time. Yeah, it was always, okay, like, therapist coming in, oh, we're practicing sitting up today? Like, that was hard as shit at first, sitting up off the bed. But I got damn good at it.
Right?
Yeah, I was going to say, figuring out what's what is as much as balance was, yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Did you just flip me off?
It's the only one, it's my pointer finger
only
now.
one he has.
This one, if I try to point at you, I have to, like, it just looks like I'm an idiot.
But
that one at least
the
gets...
caveat on what Tyler was just
Sorry,
saying, like as far as find your purpose and everything. One of the things that helped me tremendously, the shot was a tremendous step in the right direction. But if it wasn't for the family and the friendships that I had set up at the time that I got that shot, I would not be in the place that I am today. Now, do I think that I would be better because of the shot? Yeah, absolutely. But in the place that I am today, no. The shot usually lasts for 12 to 18 months for most people, and they have to get another one. I'm pushing on 3 years. So there's some other changes that were made there. So when he says find out what you want and move forward and make that choice, it's true. That gives you that purpose, that gives you that positive feeling like, hey, yeah, I may fall 3 or 4 steps backwards and have to go 5 to 10 to catch up, but we're doing it. And
fail forward.
Fail forward. You got it.
You're not really going to use fail forward, are you?
Denzel said it. Why can't I? Oh, sorry.
Okay, fair enough.
I was like, one of the greatest actors of our time or any time said it. And I gave it to him. The bibliography, TAC, Denzel Washington.
There you go.
I'm not taking credit.
So you guys aren't the only guys associated with SFH, right? So how many of you are there?
5 owners.
5 total owners.
There were 3 in the beginning. 1 stepped away, and we brought on Lance, Money Man, who does not like to show himself, and then Brian is exterminator and non-veteran as well. We're the only veterans in the mix. And then Dr. Kelly Wood, she's
our psychologist.
a kid brain doctor.
Exactly what we need in our group.
Yeah, she is a child's brain wrangler.
Yeah.
And that's why she's perfect to hang out with us.
So you can't have a name like Money Man and not show yourself. I mean, come on.
No, he's the accountant. He handles all the. No, he's the money man. He doesn't. No. Don't call me things that'll get me brought onto stages, man. My bad.
Oh, that's
but
awesome.
No.
Remember that one podcast?
An accountant, a
Thanks,
doctor,
Todd.
a bug killer, a doc, and then what's left of a Marine is the team that makes up We Are SFH.
Yeah.
And you guys also have a podcast, right?
Yes, sir. SFH presents 1 1/3 podcast where me and Zach Polk, who has handled depression, the exact opposite of how I handle things. So we're the kind of yin and yang, looking at mental health unfiltered, and have survivors on and tell their story and see if we can come, break it down to, again, steps, like you were saying, that people could maybe use for their stuff. Or, again, just to hear someone else say something you're going through and be like, oh shit, they're listening when that person's talking, and I'm going through that. So like they might feel comfortable talking to somebody now. Like we said it from the beginning that if we can reach one person, then we've succeeded. And I would say we've got 2 or 3 now
We're doing all right with that
reached.
1 person a day thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say my girlfriend was one of them. So that's going very well, I promise.
Nice.
Her cousin was one. We had one of our guests was a huge fan that helped get him on the right path. And then like by the time, what was it, episode 60? I don't know. Something in the beginning clicked with him and his wife. And when he was a guest, he was doing callbacks the whole time. I was like, oh my God, like you really watched this shit.
Nice.
But that feeling that like something I said or something Zach said or something we were talking about resulted in light bulbs going off. And he was like, oh shit. And I remember the distinct thing. It was, I talked about how I did not understand my ex-wife's anxiety. And I was not just calm down. Why can't you calm down? I wasn't that bad, but like, take a bath and get some incense going or candles, read a book, do something. And then I became more acutely familiar with anxiety and realized that sometimes those things will make it infinitely worse. Like you can't just go take a deep breath and it's fine. So there was a lot of times that I did not support my ex-wife correctly. And of course we've worked through all of that. Again, there's no bad blood. But that particular thing struck a nerve with this man, and he was so excited to talk about it when he first got on the podcast, and I was just, yeah, my cup never gets empty enough. Someone's always pouring something else in.
Yeah, we got the great avenue that is set up through Zach and Tyler through the podcast. We have what's called We Are SFH Shares on the Facebook page, which is ran by Kelly, and that's all any nonprofit anywhere in the U.S. or whatever. If you want to get your name out there, get your information out there, just send it our way, and we will share it on our SFH Shares page. That's the purpose of that page. And then we have
we don't sell anything
page
on that page. It's all just community.
Right.
Yeah, and then we have our
can talk it out,
homepage,
ask for advice, all that shit.
which has our daily
When you say
motivation.
Oh, I'm
Go ahead,
sorry,
sir.
Lance, you froze there for a second, so I was jumping in. I was going to ask Tyler when he worked it out with his ex-wife, was that because he got practice cuddles with you?
I don't. I'm a cuddler, but no. Me and her was just specifically we decided we were better off as friends, and didn't want to get to the point where we hated each other or there was resentment and the house was cold and things that the house is cold because I run hot, but I keep it cold. But we didn't want, again, 2 children. They're now 10 and 8. But we didn't want them to get to a point where they had to wade through passive aggressive bullshit and watch their parents not like each other. So we ended up calling it once we both just decided that we'd grown apart and it was either fight to try to get back to right or call it, and that's what we did. And she ended up not choosing some D-bag to replace me with. The guy that she picked is rad. Like, so and super respectful. He didn't meet the kids for the first couple months they were dating, and just the communication's always been wide open, and we raised the kids as a team. We each have them 50% of the time. So like if they're doing something stupid at their house, I need to make sure I'm nipping it in the bud at mine, and we try to make sure no matter what we're doing, make sure the kids are all right, because I'm the first American AAA amputee to survive Afghanistan. Like if I'd got hit 6 months earlier, I wouldn't have survived, and my kids would not exist if I didn't get blown to smithereens, because me and their mother weren't even dating whenever I got hurt. So I'm, again, not religious, but things happening for a reason, not slapping the universe in the face. Like I have my kids needed to exist apparently. So I'm going to do everything I can to make sure they're well-rounded and upstanding individuals.
And even though this new guy can grow a better beard than you.
So good. Oh my
We still know you can kick his ass, Ty.
No, that's the thing is, but we'd also, so he's a big dude. He buff, and was a musician. So he's probably been in some shit. So in a fisticuffs fight, if I didn't break an ankle or a kneecap or an elbow or something real quick, I'm probably fucked. But especially in a bar fight, we always had the plan where he would book me into the middle, and we'd meet in the middle. I'd start fucking up knees and ankles, and he'd just start coming that way. And my thing is, if you see me coming for you and I don't get an ankle or a knee quick, I'm getting punted. Like, so, bam. But no, me and him would mess people up in a fight for sure. But we'd be on the same side of that fence. But we do mess around with the bad boys too thing, like whenever, because my daughter's 8, but we joke around whenever some boy's gonna come pick her up for a date and doing the whole like
The do-rag thing.
I heard him say your name's Reggie. How old are you? 15? Shit, you at least 30.
So,
Sorry.
Lance, what's one of the most impactful things that you guys have done with SFH?
Oh wow, most impactful. Shoot, we go back every year. It has to be the response that we get at the River Warrior marches.
Ooh, that's a solid one.
That's a solid one. I mean, hell, the first one that we participated in, we were only supposed to give them 50% of our net proceeds, and we gave them everything out the damn box. We were just so impressed and so wanting to help them. Our buddy Brian has a habit of doing things like that.
He got a big heart, and I love it. He's the right person for our team, for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a few times where we didn't go into any sort of black because we refused to not give 100% of the proceeds back to a couple different companies. But the Irreverent Warriors is fantastic. They do hikes all over the place. With combat veterans and the camaraderie and the dark humor and the silkish shorts.
And this is
good.
This is now our third year, and after the first year, we've been invited back the past 2 years. It isn't like, hey, when are you guys doing this? They reach out to Tyler and say, hey, are you guys coming this year? Just because, I mean, the camaraderie that group makes as a whole is amazing. And just to be a small part of some of their activities in Florida and hopefully somewhere else as we get bigger is huge for us.
Mm-hmm. Because they do Tampa and Key West, and they do a bunch. Like, they're everywhere. But right now, we are currently a fixture at the Jack's Beach one every year in Florida, in North Florida.
So you talked about the camaraderie and the dark humor and stuff like that, but why is it the most impactful for you guys? Why did you give 100%?
Well, shit, I mean, we give 100% anytime we go to anything anyways, because we know that someone needs it. So if we're going to an event, even if we're not doing super great, I'm going to crank it up to 11 anyways, because someone needs to see it. Someone needs to see the smile and have the energy. So, like, some of them are more exhausting than other events because I've had to also pump it up too. I'm naturally this guy, but there are times when I have lulls. So that ends up being a thing where we're pouring ourselves into it so hard, but the feedback is what would probably make that the most impactful event we've had, because we've talked about it a bunch. Whenever someone talks to us, or again, we see something we're doing or saying means something to somebody, that one is the most concentrated of it. Because 200-ish people doing the hike?
Yeah, and I mean,
Give or
and
take.
a lot of them.
I think they had 3 last year, 300.
Yeah. No,
But yeah,
more
watching
last year.
almost 300 people feel it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's amazing, and it's the numbers will come. I mean, is our view on it is, we're here to enlighten and empower and help one another and lift one another up, and try to do that type of thing. What are you about to say,
So
Ty?
the two words are motivate and inspire. Sorry, those are my 2 words. Sorry, SFH is doing what you said. I was like, you didn't say the 2 important ones.
The guy always has to interrupt me, and I forget what I'm saying. He does this all the time.
I also don't check my emails very well if we want
He
to talk
does
about
not.
Tyler's problems.
Tyler has a few problems, but it's okay. We love.
I was
each other.
right-handed in real life,
Where-
Lance.
where-
You want
where
to talk
I was-
about it?
Well, where I was going with this is that we love each other. Can't you tell?
Yeah, that's my brother.
I mean, all
But-
families have
but-
dysfunction, Lance.
But no. I mean, we can joke all we want about it, and we can laugh just like we are right now. But the thing is we can be in each other, face and having it out. But we know that we're each other's brothers and that we got each other's back at the end of the day. And that's what we are trying to build the community of SFH to be, is the same bond that we have as the founders of SFH.
What he said. I like it.
Was that good enough?
That was crispy. I like it.
Yeah, that was good. So how do you do that though? I mean, so with veterans who've been through some shit, I get it. That's probably a natural, right? But when you go out, let's say you go out on the streets and it's drug addicts,
I know where
right?
you're going with this.
So
Drug
the
addicts
the
are
fact
loners.
that sorry, go ahead, Lance.
No, I mean, what we have found and what has made us so successful the past 3 years is seeing the fact that we don't know everything about everything. So we find those subject matter experts that do. We get to know people like Ben Owens and what he's doing in his history of addiction and his trafficking history. Places like Sister Care. We become partners with different nonprofits that have that stuff that inspires us, and they have that leadership and subject matter experts that can answer those questions for us because we don't have all the answers. Nobody does. And that's what we do.
But yeah, so and then on the one-on-one stuff, like, because again, yeah, when we're beating the streets or we're at an event, yes, veterans found us very quickly, and of course, we can talk to a veteran day in and day out about any of their issues because between one of us, we've done it, it's happened, like, or we have firsthand experience with that. But so I've never, I mean, cancer, abuse, we've had a few along the way, and I found that mostly just being honest in general, like not trying to say the right thing or trying to, I'm going to say the most helpful thing they've ever heard, and talk to people earnestly without some sort of agenda.
One of the
And it usually turns into something. If there was a most impactful moment, it was at your parking lot party thing that you threw. We met a couple whose daughter was in a car accident, and they weren't fully certain if she was going to come out. And what ended up happening, they were like, what's going on with you? What's going on with this clothing line? And we told them the same thing, my injuries and what we do here at SFH. And they both and wanted to get in line, start talking. We're still chatting. I said something about 13. So 13 popped up again. And that's my favorite number. And it always helps me know that something good's about to happen. Because we lost 13 on this deployment. I always feel like they're looking out for me that way. But, and I said something about 13. I was like, there it is. Hell yeah. And they both shuddered and flinched at the number 13. And I was like,
and I both were afraid we said something. He
yeah,
said something
I was like,
wrong. What happened?
What's going on with that? And it's almost like it's picking on us. Like every time we do this or that or this, there's a 13. And I was just like, you know what? I'm not going to tell you how to feel about it, but every time I have seen a collection of 13s pump or just whatever it is, just when they all line up like that, something awesome's about to happen. And I watched that when they were where the number 13 literally turned into a potential lucky bright spot for them rather than a plague. And they both, and the mom started crying. The dad was about to lose it. I was about to fall out the chair. And then there's all these people clamoring and doing everything around us, but it was us at the table for at least 20 minutes of accidentally breaking through to these people.
Yeah.
And that one will always be the biggest and most impactful moment
And there's so many
that we've had as
little moments
SFH so far.
So many little moments like that, I think. I mean, even that night, particularly with the jump group that gave us sand from
Rescue
Normandy,
Buttes.
right?
They gave us sand from the beaches of Normandy in little bottles.
And then had a whole
we're
little
talking
thing
about
Go ahead. Go ahead.
They're going to throw us out of original World War II planes. That still work. And I was like, I enjoy skydiving. I'm going to be strapped to a gentleman who knows what they're doing. And you want me to jump out of some history? Hell yeah, let's go.
That's our friends at the 101st Round Canopy Group.
Yeah.
So they're awesome.
Nice.
I'm excited to work with them and do their events too. I haven't skydived in a while. I'm skydived.
There you go.
I don't know. Thrown out of a perfectly good damn airplane, right?
Well, I'm not.
At this point, you have to be thrown out, right, Ty?
It's strapped to the gentleman who's going. So if I get on the plane, I'm getting off.
Strapping gentleman.
I'm Joey pouched on the front of somebody. So I'm in a baby Bjorn. If I wanted to, I'm 185. I could get him on his ass if I had to, but like no, I don't care either way. But and the first couple times I jumped, I was with one dude. I didn't know how badass he was, but I'm gonna mispronounce his last name. Jeff Protozamo is member of the, huh?
Sounded good to me.
It was almost there. I think it's about right. But he was a member of the Red Bull Air Force, and I didn't know who they were at the time. But, teaching SEALs and freaking and SF, night parachute tactics and shit. That's what they do. And they have like a year and a half of free fall time accumulated. And I just jumped with him like he was nobody. I was like, they were like, oh man, your first jump. I was like, yeah, we did 4 backflips out. And like 4? Really? And I'm like, yeah, I was with Jeff. And they were like, Jeff? Oh, no, I get it. I was like, I didn't know 4 was hard. I didn't know 4 was a difficult task. So I was just like, yeah, it was 4. I counted them. Then ground. Like, ground plane. Like I was paying attention, man.
Perfect.
So gonna rewind the track here a little
Hit
bit,
it.
but going back to the 13 and that whole conversation in there, and everybody wants to talk about empathy and sympathy and this, that, and the other, right? And I think that right there is really the definition that you guys got down to, is that you sit in the pain with someone else, right? It's not that you're trying
if
to
you
control it.
Just hold their hand.
They don't need words. They don't need you to worry about like make sure you say the right, don't say the wrong thing. Like just be there. Shit. I've let more people just cry it out apparently I give really great hugs.
Tyler's hugs make people cry.
Because I don't hug you like I don't give you that crap. I get in like I squeeze.
He gives you
that. A lot of people give that we just did COVID crap.
He gives you that I'm gonna hug my mom like I ain't seen her in 3 years type deal.
Apparently they're healing. I didn't know that until more of our people started telling me, dude, Tyler's hugs are the ones, man. I need Tyler hug. And I was like, what? And I found out along the way that I was the one making a lot of these people cry because they just needed someone to hug them like they meant it. You always hold, and then
a little bit longer. I mean, that's honestly.
I've held a few hugs for a fucking while. I was like, I work out. I can hold this. It's fine. Isometrics.
Speaking of working out, did you say you're 185?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
He's a heavy fucker.
I'm heavier now than I was as an entire gentleman.
Where the hell did you put it all?
I was 130 for a long time as a whole dude. And anytime someone thinks they're going to pick me up, I'm just like, it's not going to go the way you think it is. I'm sorry. Like, I can hold on to your back, but like, I don't want to very much. Like, so, I mean, like, I'll just crawl. I'll hop, scoot, jump. It's fine.
Where the hell did you put it all, though? I mean,
muscle weighs more than fat, I guess. I'm stronger than the moon. I work pretty hard on it. I don't wear prosthetics, and I know that people who live in the chair exclusively blow up, and not with explosions. They just get fat. And I couldn't do hand cycling. I tried that, but I was a gymnast in real life, so I dislocated both shoulders a couple times. So we were doing the Palm Coast Marathon. I made it to 7 before my shoulder went out. And then I got it back in and made it to 8. And I was like, I'm not doing this. I'm done. I'm at mile marker 8. Can you come get me, please? But so it was a lot of figuring out what was juice was worth the squeeze kind of thing. Swimming used to be a fun thing for me, but now it's just tactical floating. So it took a while to figure out what works for me. But I've eating better and doing my best to do my workouts weekly.
Right.
I'm not as fat as I could be.
Yeah.
You don't look fat at all. That's why I was wondering where the hell you put it all.
Fit.
I mean, I've never seen your ass, but
It's not that type of episode, Ty. God. Can't take you
I
anywhere.
can't just stand up
bro.
and show you what. And plus, I'm not standing up in this chair right now because
we don't want to see your half ass either.
I do say kiss what's left of my ass to people. But yeah, it's for the viewers. My chair broke right before this. I ate shit, so I'm in another chair. I'm not going to stand up for you. That would suck to really fall for everyone to see.
I mean, I think we could get 1 million hits off from the YouTube short.
Well, because the floor's only right there. It'll be okay.
Oh, okay.
It's only right there.
So prosthetics, though, is that a choice, or is that something you're not capable of doing, or?
It's all user preference. I'm fully capable. Actually, that is a prosthetic arm.
Oh, hey, look at there.
It's actually the one I wore at my wedding. It's just passive. It's meant to look real. It doesn't do anything. You just put it on and look real. With the arms specifically, the harnesses with the old school cable systems and stuff, you do this, it makes the arm go. If you lock it, doing this will make the hook open. They had myoelectric ones that were heavier than shit, but would read how your muscles were flexing. And it just, I figured out how to do all of it without the arm prosthetic. And again, for the whole first year I was a quad, we ended up fusing my wrist on the anniversary of. Like, so I was in a splint or an external fixator for a year. So by the time I was walking on legs, I didn't want the arm to be in the way. So every fall was this. But for the first couple of years, I was walking my ass off, and I loved it. It was awesome, and I got really good at it. We went to New York City for 4 days, and I didn't even bring a wheelchair on the tall legs. But when I got settled in at home in St. Augustine, you have to wear them every day for a certain amount of time to keep your wear time up. Like if you skip the gym for a week because you're sick and you feel like you've never picked up a weight ever, that happens after like a day. It happens stupid fast. You could Michael Phelps it and not miss a day for 5 years. And then you spend a few days out of them and it feels like you never put them on. So I wasn't leaving the house every day. So I didn't put them on every day. So I was starting to put them on every couple weeks, and it was just hurting. My back would suck for a few days after. So just the juice wasn't worth the squeeze. So I stepped away from it, which ultimately opened the door for the working out. I worked at a couple different CrossFit gyms, or worked out at a couple CrossFit gyms where people helped me figure out some stuff. And it took me a better part of a decade to figure out what ultimately works for me and my physical fitness journey, I guess. But the wheelchairs are the win by a lot for me. But I'm capable.
I would imagine that it probably helps you connect with people better too, right? Because you're just fully accepting of where you're at and who you are.
Well, so the legs make me feel more wrong. The legs make me feel unstable. Especially they're shorter ones that would make me look kind of like a satyr. But I'd be about 5'3". So it wasn't comically short, but it was still fairly short. But beyond those, and still those, like getting something off the ground was a big chore, and making sure you're holding on to this and balancing that. That made me feel abnormal and like a robot, and like I couldn't do anything smooth and fast and good. But the chair, man, I got a Segway wheelchair. It's got 2 wheels. And leaning makes it go. It goes 12 miles an hour. I end up being more of a set piece that ends up helping people see the teeth and the smile and the, oh shit, if he can do it, I can do it. So it all goes back to I'm better at motivating people with my wheelchair.
No, I get it. I saw that wheelchair too. You guys were, I don't know, some event, and you were speaking out of the back of a pickup. The mic wasn't working,
That was the Reverend Warriors.
Yep.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. Come full circle. Circle.
Wonderful people, irreverent warriors.
Yeah.
So what did we miss in this conversation, guys? I mean,
So we 50% of our net proceeds goes to different nonprofits throughout the time. Oh, we also provide for nonprofits and for other organizations that want to get involved what's called co-branding, and our artist, our team comes up with a design with one of our SFH designs and your design, and make it a co-brand T-shirt that you can sell at events or stuff like that. If anyone wants to know more about that, they can also reach out to us through our website at wearesfh.com.
Yeah, our design
I think
and your
we've
design
hit
will have
everything
a
else.
baby.
I really think we've hit mostly everything else. Did you think of anything, Ty?
Hell, we've elaborated on some stuff we don't usually get to elaborate on. So, we've been far more thorough. And
Yeah, this has
again,
been kinda
we're both
fun,
talking
actually.
fast, actually, so it's a problem. I'm like, oh, shit, we've only been on for this long? I haven't shut up for like an hour.
No, this is
Let Lance talk. Let Lance talk. Like,
Yeah, no, I mean, and sometimes it be like that.
I do. I'm sorry. I really am a runaway train sometimes. I can't help it.
But he swore
I
he
can't tell.
wouldn't be.
I did all right. I only is
No, yeah, you
your
did great,
technology
man.
is why I accidentally interrupted you a couple times. You were randomly technologically quiet for a few times there when we started talking. Like,
So, the one thing we forgot
I don't
this is
believe
going to drop on Tuesday.
Okay.
Tuesday is what I've deemed Terrible Joke Tuesday. So, what's your worst fucking joke you got?
Okay. You want to hear a dirty joke?
Yeah, let's hear it.
A white horse fell in the mud.
Oh, that's
That
horrible.
wasn't fair.
That's horrible.
That's the
No,
only
so
one I
that
knew.
sorry. So you said you wanted terrible, you dick. So that, but more context. I tell that one to children a fucking lot. So and I watch their parents get horrified when I tell their kid, "You want to hear a dirty joke?" And their parents are like,
Tyler, I like your broccoli joke. What about your broccoli joke? What happened to your legs, man?
"Oh, I tell kids all the time they fell off due to lack of vegetables. That's not a joke. That's real life. Trying to help kids eat their vegetables." Because they're always like, "What the heck is going on, sir? Why are you
See,
so
we've been
oddly
looking out for
shaped?"
the little ones.
Yeah, and kids never get that it's the same. It all happened in the same thing. They just think I'm randomly bad at stuff. So like, oh man, why is your hand so fucked up? I used to bite my fingernails and it got infected. Explain to me the goneness of your right arm, and I'm just like, I did eat my vegetables and shit fell off. Vegetables have iron. Iron's hard. Like, or just I don't fucking know. And then the legs is always. I didn't listen to my parents when I was a kid, and they confiscated them. And by the time I became a good kid, they forgot where they put them. So eat your vegetables. Don't bite your fingernails. Listen to your parents.
So it's actually kind of funny. My dad, he hosted a Boy Scout camp out with my older brother, right? And they found some ditch weed somewhere, and tried to. I don't know what the hell they were trying to do. But
Smoking some
they
oregano.
they tried to smoke some ditch weed, right? And my dad ran across them, and he just looked at them dead in the eyes, and he's like, "Boys, that's how your testicles fall off."
You can't smoke all these unknown things. You just have no balls no more.
You know why they call that stuff wacky? Because it
Wacky
it
tobacco.
off.
Oh no, dude! You don't realize how dark some of the military jokes get. Are we allowed to do dark?
Yeah, go dark.
So dead baby jokes and dead hamster jokes are a thing.
Let's stick with the hamsters. I don't know.
So
Let's stick with the hamsters, bro.
I had a grown man with whom I was very uncomfortable sleeping around before he said this out loud. as solemnly as he could have started the joke, "Why would you duct tape a hamster?" And we were like, "I don't fucking know." Like, "So it won't rip when you fuck it." And we're just like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, all right, you'll have all the fire watch. Like, I'm not like, you're not allowed near me if I might be asleep.
Wow.
Get the fuck out of my face, kid.
Stay away from that guy.
Yeah, no, he had some stories, but ultimately, I think he ended up holding my IV bag when I was hurt. But I mean, Sergeant told him to, so it's not like he saved my life or nothing. But he's a good guy. He had some screws loose that didn't line up with the screws that I have loose. Is all.
There you go.
Like
Well,
teach their own.
Not all of ours have been loosened the same as others.
Yeah, I was gonna say mine have various layers of looseness.
now just as a disclaimer for everybody, right? I mean, when you go through some shit, right? Whether it's out on the streets or when you're deployed, whatever, you have to do some things to cope, right? Sometimes that just comes through some dark humor and whatever else, right? My wife and I watched Scott Mann's play here a couple weeks ago on Amazon. Okay. And it's called Last Out, right? And my wife isn't generally around a whole bunch of cussing and different things like that. And I mean, it was pretty raw, right?
I would say it's a shell shock if no one's used to hearing that kind of language, for sure.
Right.
Because once you take out all the cussing, they've only said like 8 things.
Truth.
That happens.
But I mean, there's a lot of emotions that you got to swallow. There's a lot of different things that you're not meant to see, right? So I mean, it was a good chance for us just to sit and talk about those kind of things, and it brought her into a different light on it, right? I mean, she of course isn't cussing now or anything like that, but she understands the purpose, right?
Yeah.
Well,
it's important
that's
to
one of-
see. Sorry, different perspectives is super
Probably.
important. Sorry, go.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy that you brought that up because even with our name gets looked at as a thing. But the thing is what I tell people a lot of times: if you can't get past a word in our name, then you're not going to understand me one bit. So
Yeah, you're
it
not going to
doesn't
get
work.
through a conversation with me if you
Because
can't.
you
if
can't tell me
figure out how
you
to
can't
say
tell me you never
fucking-
took a hammer and hit the top of your freaking hand and yelled a cuss word out of passion and aggression and anger. When you're happy that you're still here, or when you're mad you're still here, but as long as you're still here, you're gonna yell out, "I'm still fucking here." So it's just an intensity word. It's just to intensify the importance of being here.
Yeah.
Creative
I like it.
grammar.
I was gonna say I'm so glad I don't have to ever stub my toe again, because that was the most. Oh my god, I still have some things like that happen like that where you have to like marinate in the pain for a second. You can't even function like that. That you really stubbed that toe. I remember it. 20 years now. I had them feats, but just, yeah, that fucking like shut this shit down for an hour. Like just I gotta sit there and fucking. Like, I'm so
Especially
glad
when you get that little pinky sideways.
yeah.
Well,
The
his
little guy.
his
He-
really gets sideways and it gets stuck there.
It gets all, it's still sore. I did something stupid. Yeah, this is some weird old man shit. Because, again, 14 years, this has never fucking happened. And I've had this hand 13 of those years. And one of those you sleep wrong and your neck is wrecked for a week. I did something in my sleep to my pinky. It was like, it got swiped back or something. I don't fucking know. But I woke up and I was just like, yo, like, it feels like the entire first joint is just got wrecked somehow. And I'm like, what the hell was I doing so fervently in my sleep that made my damn pinky do this? It's the littlest guy. Look at it. He's a weirdo.
Was it tip brown?
No, there was no one in proximity to make it brown. I do laugh that I got the perma shocker for the timid gal. One who just wants to play on the back porch rather than let anyone in.
Dear Lord. And the hamster joke was bad.
I'm sorry. I cleared that with the boss before I said it.
He did.
He said go on, so I did. I can shut up now. My bad.
All right, guys. So we talked about your Facebook channel, talked about the podcast. Website is wearesfh.com, correct?
Yes, sir. Every social media is We Are SFH. So in Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, everything is We Are SFH. And then .com is the actual website where you can go to and check out our newsletters and what events are coming up. The collaboration options are on the site, and of course the shop, where almost every design is available on almost every cut of shirt, and we finally have colors. We did black for 3 years, and we finally have colors now. So the people are pretty pumped about having.
And thanks to co-founder Kelly Wood, now you can find our upcoming events and past events, most of them, on our website as well, so that you can see some of the things that we're doing out in the community as well. So she's got that rocking for us.
Kelly Wood swinging.
If there's any,
I can't not hear that song every time someone says her whole name, Kelly Wood. And it's like, Kelly Wood swinging. I can't. Sorry. Go.
It's all you, Lance.
it's all. Oh,
He's like, I was done already.
No, I mean, if we're finalizing things, the biggest thing I'd like to say, and I know all of our team at SFH would caveat on it, is with me, I was diagnosed with PTSD in 2007, I believe. No, 2007, I got my PTSD. In 2011, I got TBI diagnosis. And
Gotta carry your card. 2007. My brain broke. Look at it.
it's broken. It takes me a minute. All right, I'll get
The
there.
official brain's broken card.
But so retired 2018. It took 2 more years after retirement for me to find something that worked for me to help me with my PTSD. So the one thing that we'd like to put out there to everyone that's struggling or going through something that's in a dark spot, there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and we're here to help you find it. And that's what SFH is all about. And thank you for having us.
Yeah, if you think you've looked under every stone, we'll be excited to go over the stones we know about. So to double check that you've checked them, because there are countless ways to grow in your mental health or get past your traumas, or in his case, practically heal his PTSD, full reset. So and what works for one person doesn't work for another. So like before you go down the darkest road there is with permanent outcomes, like that last stone, make sure you've checked with anyone, not just SFH. But we'd be so excited to help you find some more stones to look under. Because we want you here. We want you still fucking here, doing your damn thing, alive out of spite.
That's why we're here.
Alive out of spite.
We're alive.
It's one of our shirts, actually.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
And we just want everybody to stop being disgruntled and get gruntled, right?
Yeah, get your gruntle on.
I did see that shirt.
Right?
I ain't gonna lie.
It was tongue in cheek towards. There's a lot of people who wear their disabilities and their dysfunctions. Disgruntled veterans, dysfunctional veterans, give me thanks, I'm broken because of you or for you or whatever. Like you owe me something because I got hurt or served you, and I'm just like, no. Like we called them the greatest generation because they got home and got back to work and took the uniform off and put it in a box under the bed. Like. It wasn't part of their identity. They had to get home and get back to work and get their shit done. So we want to do the gruntled because just like, no, I've been through some shit. I served you happily. I'd do it twice tomorrow if I could. I promise.
That's something we did happily. Was served. Come
gruntled
on now.
AF.
There's other things we might be a little disgruntled
They
about.
see me rolling.
So I think everybody should be able to see, right? There can be a hell of a good life, after you go through some shit. I mean, that's the biggest thing that I'm getting out of this right now. And just as you guys said, right? Don't make that horrible decision, to go down a road that you can't come back from, right?
Boom.
It's hard to get out. It's hard to get out of that hole once you're there, because I was stuck there for a very long time. So, best thing to do if you're falling in that hole, reach out to a group like us, or reach out to someone that you love and let them know, hey, hold my hand, bring me a light and hold my hand, because I'm going through some shit right now and I need you.
Yeah, I'm coming
and
in
be
with
willing to say that. Be
phosphorescent
willing
tape
to
for
reach
the
out and
ground.
say, I need you.
Yeah, because everyone thinks it's a competition. That's the last thing. Sorry, everyone thinks it's a competition. They see me and all of my brokitude and think like I can't talk about my divorce or this or my problems with X, Y, and Z because look what he has to deal with on the daily basis. And I'm just like, I almost want to go as far as fuck you for putting that on your own shoulders, because what you're going through, I have no earthly idea about probably any of it. Like I have my own list of things I've been through now. The bullet points are getting a little longer, but you've likely been through a bunch of stuff that I've never been through, or the combination of stuff you've been through is something I've never dealt with, or whatever it is. Your problems are your problems, my problems are my problems. I can see your problems without either of us comparing them to anyone else's. So yeah, whatever your fight is, whatever your dark spots are, or any of that stuff, whatever the tribulation is, it's yours, and we see it and validate you in your fight and your struggle.
Yeah, there's no direct KPI for hard.
No.
Whatsoever. I mean, hard is an individual topic.
It all fits anyone differently. So.
Yep. Agreed. So,
but
anyways,
there is an
reach out.
Yep.
Reach out. And go check these guys out. We are SFH. All right.
Still
I appreciate
here.
you guys coming
Thank you
on
for having
today.
us.
Thanks, brother.
Absolutely love it. And until next time.
All right.
You have just experienced the heat and pressure of the forge. Remember, words without action are meaningless. Now, after the heat of the forge, shape your thoughts, quench your brain, then put your new tools to use, adding to your leadership. Tune in next week for more lessons from the forge.